Good morning, good morning. Welcome to Coffee and Pan Dulce at Cano's house. Today we have a very interesting little webcast show. Let's welcome Christian Cano and make sure that he is on the right seat. For some reason I can't scream today.
Yeah, you're recovering from.
Yeah, I still feel weak.
Well, thank you, everyone. Let me put my jacket on. I wanted to show my shirt.
I love that jacket.
Yes, this is
Nice.
my seersucker suit that I wore last night, which I got a lot of compliments on.
I bet. I
God,
couldn't make it.
Our chairs are like really close today.
I don't know why. I guess today we don't have any other guests, and I feel proud.
It feels so intimate. Yes. Well, welcome everyone to Coffee and Pan Dulce. I'm Christian Cano. Today is August the 28th. It feels like it's been actually kind of cooler this week. As you've noticed, we've got a limited but good team today. It's just Ruth and I hosting today. Jeff Scott.
It feels like we're starting at the beginning.
Exactly.
When we first started.
Exactly. Speaking of that, I'll tell you who I ran into. Jeff Scott is actually in Monroe.
Actually, we just got some notices back from him.
Okay.
He's still in Monroe, but it got canceled.
Oh no.
Hate it. Yes.
Jeff, and that's something we'll have to talk about.
Yes.
Because that
tells us a lot about his poster as a candidate.
Yes.
You know,
And
not
the
all the
competition.
candidates did. He said not all the candidates responded.
Yeah. Well.
So he was the only one. Applaud for you, Jeff, because you're keeping up. Yes.
And that I think that speaks a lot. I agree with you. So we're gonna start, but let's turn this off. Alexa, stop.
Let's see if she follows instructions.
Oh, excellent. All right. So welcome to Coffee and Pan Dulce. I'm Christian Cano. We want to thank everyone for joining us on Facebook Live, but also those who will be joining us later on YouTube.
Yes.
And also on Facebook as well. As we mentioned, our partner in crime, Jeff Scott, is in Monroe. He was at a candidate forum for the 9th Congressional Special Election, and it looks like that got canceled today. Which I'm so sorry to hear that, because so many of those candidate forums have been canceled because both Dan McCready and Dan Bishop either didn't show up or
they didn't respond.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Well, they need at least 2 candidates to do a candidate forum, and either one or 2 of them won't show up. And the debates, we'll talk about that as well. There's a big debate going on tonight. It's going to be televised. And a lot of people are upset because not all of the candidates.
It still goes on, even though they're not showing up to what they're supposed to?
Well, it will. The one tonight is being done by WBTV and the Charlotte Observer.
That's okay.
And both of the candidates, both the Dans, Bishop and McCready, had already agreed to that one debate.
Yeah.
And so they are going to be on stage talking to the reporters. I believe it's going to be broadcasted live. There's not going to be a studio audience, my understanding is. So it's going to be very interesting. There's a candidate watching party going on. I know the Republican Party's having one. I thought it was kind of funny. The Democrats are not having a candidate watching party because, that's interesting. But
hey, Tara.
Yeah, hi,
I hope
Tara.
You feel better.
Yeah,
Tara
hope
can't
you feel
make
better.
it today because she also feels
sick.
sick.
And Barbara has got working on her faucet.
Barbara,
so it's like
we miss you. Thank you.
We're going to handle the show today. So let's start off by. We've welcomed everyone, and we're going to salute to Coffee and Pan Dulce.
Yep.
So here we go.
Just for us.
Exactly, just you and I.
Cheers, everyone. If you got your cup of coffee.
Exactly.
Also, cheers to
I'll
you.
get my stuff out of your way. All right, so today we have a special treat. So I'm sorry that Jeff and Barbara and Tara
and Jenny, I haven't heard from Jenny.
Yeah, Jenny are going to miss this. We're actually having tamales today.
Yes.
So Coffee and Pan Dulce, we switched it up a little bit this morning. We're having tamales, which are from Manolo's Bakery.
Woo-hoo!
So if you'll hand me a tamale,
I sure can.
And we're going to do something really funny. We're going to show y'all how to open a tamale. Because
too bad we don't have a producer that will zoom in a camera.
Zoom in, exactly. So people people warm their tamales up. If you get them fresh, you don't have to warm them up.
Yeah.
But most people either freeze them or put them in the refrigerator.
I buy a lot and freeze them.
Yeah, that's what I do. And the traditional way is to steam them. If you have a steamer, you steam them for a while with the husk on the tamale. And then after you've steamed them, you just take the husk off of the tamale. And
did you happen to know that you can do so many things with the husk?
Yes. Yeah.
I've seen, like, every time I visit Mexico, there's little dolls made out of husk. There's, you know, like, not jewelry, but I mean, it is typical handmade crafting.
Oh, wow.
Yes, they do earrings. They do so many things out of tamales husk.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to waste all of that. And I'm sure there's, I mean, you can. I actually microwave mine to warm them up. And you do it just like you would corn. You wrap it in a wet paper towel.
Make it steam,
Yeah, and then you warm it up. And so these are from Manolo's Bakery. Once again, we want to thank Manolo's Bakery for being our sponsor. They're on Central Avenue. I saw Manolo last night. He provided.
I've seen him.
It was a wonderful turnout to the Latin American Chamber of Commerce Candidate Forum, which had probably the most candidates I've ever seen.
This is their third year doing it, so I'm very surprised and happy at the same time. I couldn't make it. I was looking forward to make it, but I was not just feeling at all.
I was impressed by how many candidates showed up.
But I've seen that. And that's the most important, because sometimes there was more public assistance than candidates.
Yes.
So now it was like the candidates did show up.
Yeah. Well, there were quite a few.
The ones that are interested in our community.
Exactly. And that was pretty much all of them, or they actually had someone there. So I was very impressed on how many people showed up. So we're going to talk very briefly, if you have a button, because I brought my list of buttons here.
I carry my button in my heart. Everybody knows that.
And what is your button?
Gun sense reform.
Yes.
Come on, gun sense. We have people dying every single day. School just started Monday for us. And we had a lockdown this morning at Sun Valley.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
So, and then yesterday there was another lockdown at another school. Why? Guns and promises. Guns are arriving our schools.
I just realized my glasses are dirty. Sorry.
No contacts today?
No, I've had to wear glasses the last couple of days because I had gotten some. My
did you ever find out if it was the contacts or the oil?
Oh my gosh! Let me. It turns out I had a contact stuck in my eye. I didn't even know it. They're so thin, and I'm not supposed to sleep with these contacts. And it was like in the corner up there, and the contact got stuck there for like 2 weeks, and I couldn't feel it. It folded. And it traveled.
So you were wearing another one on top of what you had.
Is that freaky?
Oh my God!
Is that crazy? And I felt something in there, but I just couldn't tell. I thought it was like a.
Because remember, you had just got the new CBD oil or whatever to test.
That's right. So it turns out, because we've been at the lake almost every weekend, and I was in the lake and I got water in my nose, and the contact traveled through my nasal cavity, and I blew it out. And it came out.
My goodness!
I'm sorry that's kind of disgusting as we're about.
Oh my tamale!
But it was weird that I didn't know that there's the navel. It's all connected anyway. So after that, everything was like perfect. It was crazy.
Oh my
goodness! I've been wearing glasses.
So it wasn't the CBD oil, guys.
No, it wasn't the CBD oil.
What is it? The organic that the guy gave you.
Yeah. So I forgot what we're talking about. All right, so
you say your glasses were dirty.
Yes, my glasses aren't dirty. I actually like to eat tamales with.
We were talking about our buttons.
Yeah, with
hot sauce. I said my button is the gun sense and gun sense.
Yes.
Moms on the bands and all those good stuff.
So I'm wearing my Trans Pride doodad here with my buttons on it. Tara Long for County Commission, who we support, or I support at least. Alan Smith for Congress, that's who I support, and we'll be talking about that as well. And the reason is because he's fighting for Medicare for all. He's also fighting for climate change as well, and so.
And I love it. I just love the way you explain things, because we love Jeff as our co-host, and we agree in a lot of stuff, and we also disagree in some of the stuff. but I hope he understands that in the run for elections, it's not that we don't want to support him, but we align better more with Alan, because Alan is more inclined with a lot of issues that we're facing right now, especially what's going on in the Amazon.
Exactly, the fires.
The fires and stuff, and then hearing our great chief leader not supporting climate change and rejecting offers from all over the world, we have to step up and choose candidates that are trying to make that change.
Exactly. Well, at least that's what I mean. I know that's how you think, or that's how you're voting, or everyone is basing the criteria on how they're going to vote. But yeah, I mean that's important to me.
I was telling my daughter-in-law yesterday. Back in the days, there was no toilet paper. Can you imagine how many trees get cut off yearly just to make ourselves feel comfortable and wipe our butts? Well, how can we buy? Why? How can we stop using toilet paper and use something else? I want to get some ideas. She looks at me and she's like, wipes? And I said, no, because that's still paper.
That's right.
I want to know something that I don't have to use paper to wipe my butt.
Yeah.
That's something so simple. We can make that change.
Well, people use bidets. If anybody knows what a bidet is,
I don't know what a bidet is.
I don't even. All right. Well, we have really distracted from what we want.
Well, just if you get any ideas, please send us some alternative, because I want to make that change. I want to start.
We have no script today, so we're just going to talk about whatever we need to talk about today. So back to tamales. So I actually like salsa or something on my tamale because it gives it a little taste. But these are very, very good tamales. Once again, you can get these at Manola's Bakery in Central Avenue. Pan dulce, cakes, tres leche cakes, are all kinds of wonderful cakes. Oh God,
they're the best cakes.
And so please support small businesses, locally owned businesses, especially immigrant businesses in the Charlotte area. So. What do you want to talk about?
I already said what I want to talk about.
She wants to talk about what we're going to do about climate change and toilet paper. This is a time where
there's places in Mexico and in other foreign countries where indigenous people are still not using what we call privilege here. What we have created, that laziness of, people used to write in rocks before.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
They used to, I imagine myself, okay, I know there's still places in Mexico where no one can travel through cars or bicycles or anything. They have to go and use the zip lines.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Yeah. And they're in forests, hiding, villages. They still don't speak our language, and they're not updated, and they live happy their life.
Well,
I wonder how they do to bathe themselves, clean themselves. They don't use no shampoo, updated, But my concern is how we're killing our planet just to feel comfortable.
Yeah, I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
I think
if you have to take 3, 4, 5 times a shower, do it instead of wasting trees.
Yeah, well, that's a great idea. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, I think that we have a lot of luxuries here in the United States and in America that many countries don't, and we do waste a lot here. And I guess I try to be as observant of recycling. I don't use straws anymore. I try to recycle everything, even though some things you shouldn't recycle. I try to use. I agree. Yeah, I mean that's very important.
I seen this guy this week, and he traveled the sea. I don't know if you've seen him. I think it took him I don't know how many hours or how many days to travel across on a. They're not called kayaks. It's the one that you stand on.
Oh, yeah. I see those at the lake all the time. People.
The ones that you stand on. And he said he wants to create conscious of the world, how they're harming our seas by throwing things.
Yeah.
You know, not taking care of our
He's doing that in the ocean?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's very unusual because that's a hard.
Yes.
That's
with his hands, and I was like, oh my God, what in the world is he doing? And that's what he said. He decided to do that so he can create conscious of people not taking care of our beaches.
Yeah, I mean that's.
I was like, man, that's amazing.
That's hard. It's a hard exercise as well. All right, so tamales is good.
Yes.
You must have got spicy pork as well, or I don't know if that's chicken or pork.
I don't know what it is, but they're good.
Yeah,
Manolo, thank you.
Yeah, Manolo. So we have no schedule or script today to talk about, so we can talk about whatever we want. I figured we would talk about it. Well, I don't know. What do you want to talk about? I know we talked about Amazon. There's a.
That must be your brother.
Oh, is it? Yes.
Hi, brother.
Hey, brother. How are you? There is a fire going on in Amazon, and it is destroying acres and acres of forest.
And the forest. Imagine all the animals that are being killed there.
Yep. And so the Brazilian president is sending a army out, some of the military to help fight the fire, which I think it's already destroyed. I don't know how many thousands of acres. I think what's really important is that our president here hasn't even talked about that. He hasn't said a word about the concern. People call the rainforest are the lungs of the earth. It is. I forgot how much of our oxygen comes from our rainforest, and it is like smothering the lungs of the earth. And once that's gone, it's almost impossible to come back. And you're right. I mean, the wildlife that's stuck in there that are and we don't really know if there was anybody.
And that's their habitat.
Yep.
Especially for pets and animals and all that, all those good creatures. But yes, you're right. There's people living in those places.
Well, I think what's really important is a lot of drug companies are drawn to the Amazon and even Africa and some of those remote areas because there are plants that could possibly have purposes that could help people, that could help us, that be turned into certain drugs that could help people who are suffering from serious diseases or illnesses.
It could turn into narcotics, yep.
Yeah, well, and so I think that's even more important that there may be
Talking about that,
yep.
Did you hear yesterday the Supreme Court? It's allowing it's suing Johnson & Johnson companies.
Actually, that was a federal judge in Oklahoma. Yes,
yep, in Oklahoma, you're right.
That it was almost a $500 million judgment against Johnson & Johnson for the opioid crisis.
Yep.
Oklahoma.
For provoking
the
addiction.
And which was a huge, it's almost the early time, those who remember the tobacco lawsuits that came out. This is a huge situation, and now there's things going on today about some company.
Also, the vaping cigars or the vaping. I don't really know much about the vapors and stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things going on about those kind of things.
And of course, everybody wants to blame every other whatever opportunity they get. Not understanding that the best thing to do is bring awareness and educate our communities first. Before this gets done.
Exactly.
Before addictions come out, doctors, like, I took my daughter-in-law last week because she was very sick and she's pregnant. The doctor decided to give her some pain medicine. And I said, well, I've been giving her Tylenol, which is the only thing that she can take. Oh, I'm going to give her Tylenol but in a higher level.
Yeah.
And I said, that will not harm the baby. No, it won't. I would only give her for 10. She would only need 1 dose. But she gave her for 10 days.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, okay, if you are saying that it's going to help her just for one time, why would you give her for 10 days?
Yeah. I guess,
that was an narcotic. That was something really, I can't remember, was hydrocodone.
Hydrocodone, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
3 point something.
And those who've watched the show, we've actually talked about this kind of briefly before with Jeff. Jeff talks about pain management.
And Barbara.
Yeah, and Barbara as well, about pain management and how important it is to not give up that right between you and your doctor about pain management. And, I'm one who believes that if you're in pain, you're in pain. And the doctor should be able to, but what you're talking about is that sometimes the doctors give them too much.
Too much.
Oh, okay.
That's my concern.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a pain person that will take Tylenol, ibuprofen, whatever is on my counter to get that pain relief. However, if we are, the way I understand it is, we've been hearing about the opioids addictive, and if we know that that's very addictive, why would you give a patient for 30 days? What makes you think that patient is going to take it for 30 days? One, that patient might just take it for once and then decides to hear about money making and decides to sell them.
Well, I would not disagree with you, but I guess that's probably the libertarian part of me that would come out, and I would agree with Jeff. If Jeff were here, I would agree with Jeff, because I think we have to hold people personally responsible, and they should be able to decide.
Correct.
So if a person is
But see, in order for the person to decide, we have to educate them first.
Sure.
We have to let them know, like,
they have to educate themselves.
Well, you go to a doctor visit. Hi, Lynn, by the way.
Hey,
you go to a doctor visit, and the
we
doctor.
have no script today, Lynn.
Yeah.
So we're,
and the
we're just eating tamales and.
And the doctor, it's the first time you're meeting your doctor, the first time that you're telling them, okay, I have pains here, arthritis, whatever, and decides to say, okay, well, you've been taking Tylenol or ibuprofen that haven't been working on you. Let me give you something a little bit, and that will make you feel better. Fine. Then this person doesn't get educated before that.
About the addictions of it?
About the medication and
Sure.
everything. Because once you go to the pharmacy, you pick that up, you only read a script saying you understand,
It's
blah, blah,
like
blah.
3 pages.
Yeah, but I mean, people don't really take the time to read all that. So this person decides to start taking them because it's a pain reliever.
Sure.
Okay. And all of a sudden, if you stop taking that medication, you're going to be wanting to get more.
So I think I understand what you're saying.
Because then you will not be able to live without that medication.
So what you're saying is that either the doctor or the nurse or the pharmacist or someone
to sit down and take some
needs to
time.
sit down and say, just want to let you know, this is what we're giving you.
But it's very addictive. You gotta be careful.
This could be very addictive.
If you mistake it as a just a pain reliever or whatever, if you take it more than what it's supposed to do in your body, it will get you hooked up.
Well, but I agree with you that is something that doctors and nurses and pharmacists should do, and maybe that's something that that's federal legislation that needs to be passed.
Correct.
That they are required to tell you what verbally tell you what's going on. That's interesting. I wish we had Jeff here
a
because
few
we could
years
talk
back,
about that.
my mother had suffered from depression. My kids were small. We took a trip to Myrtle Beach, and we didn't know my mother. I mean, we knew my mother was taking Zoloft, but nothing had come out of them in the news.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, my mother opened the door from our car while the car was driving.
Oh no!
And wanted to throw herself out.
It had like a terrible side effect.
2 weeks later, we hear the news saying that Zoloft was causing, paranoia, was causing depression attacks and all that. And I'm like, okay, so why would you put this medicine out there without knowing the side effects? Why not doing the right research first, then placing in danger all these families?
Well, but that would be, once again, I think that would be an argument or a conversation that we should have. That is that federal legislation required? Does Congress need to pass legislation that says that we need to, or those who prescribe something or those who distribute something need to educate the consumer, they need to sign on it? Because really, when you're getting a prescription, like a Harris Teeter, for example, I pick up a prescription, it says, Do you want the pharmacist to talk to you? Yes or no? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
No. Most people say no. And then it says, do you understand this? I think what that says, I don't know.
And then they get your license now.
Yeah. I think what they're saying is that you're responsible for reading all of that. So at what point is it the patient's responsibility to educate themselves, or Jeff talks about personal responsibility? At what point is it the person's responsibility, or what point is it someone else's responsibility?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's
because my doctor tells me. I mean, when she's just whenever she has given me something, she has said, "I don't want you on this too long," because she did tell me,
But see, not all the doctors are like that. I mean, I've had the experience where I've had a doctor for so many years, and all of a sudden I show up into my appointment and they tell me, "Oh, he's no longer here," and I'm like,
wow.
"What?"
Yeah.
Things like that. So, I mean, not all the doctors are the same. They don't have the same sympathy with you. But you know what? I hope what's going on with Alabama, I hope what the Supreme Court did, and that will kind of bring a reflection and a change in some of the pharmaceutical companies.
Well, you know how we can fix that?
Voting. Medicare for all, yeah, you're right.
So, if you're a fan of Medicare for all, which I am, that would be a possible fix, because one of the reasons that people switch doctors is because their health insurance doesn't cover that doctor, or that doctor doesn't participate in that coverage, or that's whatever that system or plan or whatever. And if you had Medicare for all, if we got rid of the middleman, you would be able to see whatever doctor you wanted to. So if you establish a great relationship with a good doctor, it wouldn't make any difference. You wouldn't have to worry about, does my insurance cover this? Does my insurance cover this drug, or whatever the case may be? It would be all that
the same.
All of that worry would be taken away. So when you
that's
find
like
a good
in a
doctor,
military style, everyone wearing the same uniform.
And so I think that's a good case. I wish Jeff was here today. We could actually have that
miss
conversation.
You, Jeff.
Once again, let's see. Read everything. Oh, yeah, interesting. Yeah, I mean, there's.
Oh wow, yeah, steroids. Thank you, Lynn, for letting us know. She's saying read everything. Steroids can cause psychosis too. I have a brother right now, as I've mentioned in the past shows. He's 32 years old, and he was admitted again on July 28th. Then he was let out. He was there just over the weekend, and apparently he said, "Oh, I feel good. Then I got an email last week from one of my friends that work inside the CMPD saying, "Ruth, I just received an email. It's your brother. He's stalking police departments." And I'm like, oh my God. I had to explain to my friend his situation since back in 2016. So that way, and of course, my brother's white, completely white, green eyes, tall, blonde. He doesn't really have that risk as others, but the police department was feeling threatened by him. So there was one officer that was taking training on how to deal with mental illness and decided to convince him so he could get some treatment. My brother been inside Billingsley or Randolph, whatever place, since a week ago, and he calls me every day saying, "Oh, they're gonna let me go," but I got a phone call yesterday saying, "Ruth, I'm sorry, but these people got me upset, and I just decided to do a hole on the wall, so I'm punished." And I'm like, I wonder what kind of medication you're being treated for. My concern about that particular, my family story is, once they let him out, they don't contact us. They don't tell us what type of medication he's taking, what kind of medication that he'll be taking, because he's already an adult. So my brother comes out. He comes out very good, normal. He's supposed to be taking the medicine every single day. He stops taking them. We don't know what's the name of the medication. We don't know what he's supposed to be administering himself. And then he gets way back again and starts reacting worse than the beginning. So yes, sometimes, and he does take steroids because I guess he complains about muscles pain, so they give him the muscle relaxant. And of course, I don't know if my brother smokes pot. I don't know if he does any recreational drugs. I mean, I kind of have a feeling he does, but imagine doing that with medication. I mean, that might be crashing in his system and causing him to have worse mental illness.
Well, once again, I think what you've said, and I'm sorry to hear that's going on with you or someone in your family, but I think it's another, I don't want to say the word argument, I think it's another example of why we need improved Medicare for all in America. Because improved Medicare for all will not only help handle mental
illness, disorder, illness.
You'd get mental treatment.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You would get
policies,
dental, visual, health as well. And those are areas that many of us at one point of our life may have needed some talk counseling or maybe medication or whatever the case may be. You know, life is tough anyway. You know, and so, and especially how complicated life is.
Some are stronger than others, but I mean, I think it hits all of us.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean because someone needs help during a certain part of their life that you know, back in the day, you know, we would get that talk counseling from a minister or a family member, or a wise family member, or
the wiser uncle.
Yes, or the Thea that you would sit down with, or the Theo that, you know, would sit down with you and talk to you about things. Well, because of how far we live away from our families today, not often, and there's some issues maybe people don't want to talk to their family about. And so those, I think, once again, that is one of the reasons that I fully support Medicare for all, and I hope that, you know, we'll be seeing that coming around in the next
we definitely. Lynn says that she had a conference call with Bernie last night, and
hearing aids are included.
Yeah.
Oh,
5,500 fighters last night. Wow.
You know, Lynn, thank you for saying that. There are actually two candidates, or actually three candidates. Charlotte in our region is going to be has been very busy this week and going to be very busy the next 2 weeks. We had Senator Kamala Harris was in town, I believe, this weekend.
I thought she's coming in town.
I think she was here this weekend.
She was already passed. Okay.
I believe so. I missed it. I missed that one. Beto O'Rourke is coming tonight. I'm going to the event. It starts at 5:30. He's going to roll out or talk about a plan that he is endorsing with March for Cade Lee, who was with us.
March about the guns.
Yes, gun safety, gun sense. He's rolling out his plan. He's going to be having kind of like a town hall meeting talking about that today. Beto O'Rourke. Senator Biden.
But he was just here at CPCC not too long ago in May, I think it was.
That was a while back.
Yeah.
It seems like it was just yesterday, didn't it? Yeah, that was when he was running for. Oh no, he was here.
Back in May or June, somewhere up there, right before school ended.
That's right. He was here at CPCC. That's
right.
And
very early in the morning, and yay.
Vice President Biden is going to be in, I think, Rock Hill today.
Oh wow!
And then he'll be in Charlotte, I think, tonight at some fundraiser event that he's going to. And then I think President Bush,
45.
Bush,
President Trump will be here.
I hate saying the word Trump for some reason, but out of respect, President Trump is going to be here, I think, September the 9th.
I just love the way you're so respectful.
Today I am. And so...
please don't touch any of his buttons.
Yeah, Charlotte has been very, very busy with a lot of people being in town. And for many reasons.
I just want to make sure.
I can't wait to...
even though he's coming to support his candidate, which is Dan Bishop.
Yeah. Which we're going to talk about.
He's going to probably come and throw some dogs and barks and stuff against our governor, Roy Cooper. But let me tell y'all, I'm very satisfied with Roy Cooper right now. I'm very happy that he did what he's supposed to do and protect our communities.
Sure.
By vetting.
By vetoing that HB 370, I think is what you're referring to.
Correct.
So those who are not aware, HB 370, which was going to be, it was a state legislation that was going to force sheriffs to comply with 287G, which many of us are against.
If not, then we're going to step them down and reject them.
It was an unconstitutional legislation. It was
because I understand we the people choose who we want us to represent ourselves.
And so, but I think that's a good segue for us to go into the 9th Congressional District race, because what you said, Ruth, I think is very, very important. What you said was that you thank our governor and you support our governor for doing what's right.
We pressure him, though. I know that.
Yes. So that wasn't that hard for you to say.
No.
So, what I'm getting to, and I think most people have heard what I've said about this before. I don't understand. I don't understand why that is so hard for Dan McCready to say. I mean, really. I mean, those who,
maybe because we say it as a community advocate, like myself.
Sure.
I say it because I'm not ashamed, and I don't
Sure.
feel pressure of both sides.
Sure.
I speak what I think.
Okay.
I was telling you earlier before we opened the show, I kind of understand and feel Dan in a way.
Dan McCready.
McCready.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I should say McCready now.
Yes.
Sometimes maybe let's give it a shot of a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's not the type of person that will stand up and say,
Sure.
and maybe he's the type of guy that will do things once he says, whatever he places in his heart. I'm hoping and I'm crossing my fingers to see that.
Sure.
If not, then we'll really, really believe that he's not a great leader. Why? Because you are right. A leader should stand up before everyone and say, this is what I stand for, this is what I want.
And that is the reason I think that people are people who do not support Dan Bishop, which I don't support Dan Bishop. I don't support how he's running his campaign. I don't support the rhetoric that he spews.
Now, we don't support him not because he's Republican.
No,
let's make clear that.
Yeah, not because
not because of the party. It's of his personality.
Exactly.
I've supported Matthew Ryan Howard.
Yes.
I supported Russian before, and I think we're gonna have Russian soon.
Yeah, Stony Russian is gonna be on our
yes.
show, by the way. So those who follow us from Union County.
It's not about the party.
Yes.
I mean, like party over country. It's not about the party. Yeah. It's about what it's in your heart as a leader.
Yes. And I think that the way he is using the sheriff, the way he is using our women of color in Congress as the lightning rod, the way that they used to use Obama, all of that kind of stuff.
I wasn't aware of that.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's correct. We can talk about that actually.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lynn, for that's another topic we can talk about.
Thank you, Lynn.
The way he's using that, I think, is just it's just what we don't like to see. But what we have to understand that there are people when they're voting for a person in office, and many times they want someone who they think is going to fight for them because either they feel, I don't know, I can't explain that, but they want someone who's going to be, whether it's in city council, whether it's county commission, whether it's Stony. One of the reasons that Stony is so popular in Union County because he fights for his constituents, whether you agree with him or not.
Yeah,
he'll fight for for whatever the issue is that's important. And in many of our rural areas, and in South Charlotte, for an example, my family, I want someone who's going to fight, who's going to stand in Congress, and who's going to say,
this is right, this is wrong,
this is right, this is wrong. And what I don't understand, and that's one of the things that I have conversations with people, and most people I speak with agree, they don't want to say it publicly, but...
That's something very interesting. Why can't they say it in public?
Well, it's part of this vote shaming strategy that my party, the Democrats, started doing when Hillary ran for office.
Okay.
When Hillary Clinton ran for office, there was this strategy because her negatives were so high, even within our own party. But Trump's,
which is similar to what's going on with McCready. Let's be honest.
Yes, but Trump's negatives were high, which is similar to Bishop.
Yep.
That the strategy was, what I believe, there was a strategy to convince people or to tell people. It was like a vote shaming strategy. It was give them a chance because the person's not as bad if Trump gets elected. And that's the same thing that's going on now. Give this person a chance because we hate Bishop. Bishop is so bad.
And
it's
see, that's
shaming.
what I kind of have a feeling inside, way inside of my guts.
Yeah.
Where I feel that McCready is being forced to run. That's what I've been perceiving since
that's what Jeff
started.
Says. Yeah, that's what Jeff's
well,
argument.
good, Jeff. We agree. I kind of have a feeling where he is being just a puppet behind scenes.
Sure.
Somebody else is moving them around. So to have a character, to have a person, a face.
I don't think that anyone who has followed this election or anyone who follows the money and sees the people that have supported that are been supporting McCready, Erskine Bowles, Hugh McCall, all of the old white money in Charlotte are behind McCready. It's not a grassroots movement. It's not.
You sounded too racist. Not only white people.
Well, Valaus,
Black, African Americans, and even Latinos are very supportive. Yes, business owners.
But they don't really have money. I mean,
believe me, business owners do support. Let me tell you,
they do.
Because our tamale maker, he was supporting McCready since he started running.
Yes, that's true. But I think that what we have to understand, or because I'm a progressive Democrat, is that I want candidates that are in the pockets of working class people rather than
entrepreneurs.
Not entrepreneurs. I think small businesses are important.
Are good, okay.
But I just think that, and we have these conversations on this show all the time, that it's good enough to be a working class person and support working class people, that we don't have to sacrifice who we are just to get someone in. And I know you and I had this conversation before that, and when people are running for a public office, it's a job interview.
Correct.
And we have to treat them the same way we would treat someone if we were hiring them at Bank of America or Walmart or whatever company you work for or whatever. And we have to interview them. We have to see if they're going to fit with our organization. We have to see what experience they bring to the table. And we don't just hire people because the other person is so bad.
Correct.
And that is what, I hate to say it, but that was almost a strategy of Hillary Clinton. And it backfired. Because we've all been in situations where people have tried to shame us for whatever reason. Especially if you're a marginalized person, if you're a Latinx person, if you're a woman of color, if you're LGBTQ, we've all been told by someone else, in order to fit in, you need to do this, you need to do this. And it's usually been at our expense. And during election times, and especially here in Charlotte, and I talked about this last night at the Latin American Chamber Candidate Forum, Charlotte has a history of racism and bigotry. Correct. And it's both within both parties. And it's very, what we say, bless your heart kind of racism.
Like, honey.
Yes. And
bless your heart.
And there's this vote shaming going on.
Even though they know that it's wrong.
Yes. And there's a lot of vote shaming going on about voting for one person or the other. And that is, and I think that backfires.
Yeah, something that we have to make sure is that no candidate should be promising individuals certain things that they will promise to do. Why would they do that? Why would you promise a certain group of people, oh, I know I'm going to stand for this and this and this, but not the whole community knows what are your stands for?
Well, that's good. I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I agree.
Come on, don't promise something just to certain, because then you're proving me.
Yeah.
If I'm an open community advocate, I'm gonna look for everyone, not just for my Latinos, not just for my African Americans, not just for my white people. Yeah. I'm gonna be equal with everything.
Sure.
So if I believe that Cano is running for Congress, I want him to say and stand before a diverse community and tell them what are his points, what are his platform, what are his thoughts, what can he bring. Because you cannot just say, oh, I'm going to sit in Congress and I'm going to make that change. You can't say that. You have to kind of demonstrate us first that you're going to be a team player, that you're going to get involved and present ideas and see and make connections, and like Alma Adams, other Congress people, and see if they agree with your ideas, and then you can bring that change. Of course, this is just a dream of mine, because it's gonna only take him, if he wins, if McCready wins, it's only gonna take him 10 weeks, and then he has to rerun again.
Exactly.
What are you gonna do for 10 weeks?
Yeah. There's not much.
What do you have already on your hands to show us?
But I think it also, but that has to do with Bishop and McCready. But once
both,
again,
yeah.
But once again, there are 4 candidates. There are 4 choices that we have to choose from, and everyone has to make decisions on themselves. I mean, the most important thing should be, regardless of your Democrat, if you truly believe in putting our country over party, you're not going to vote shame people.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to say you need to vote for this person because we hate this person, or you need to vote for this person because I don't like Trump, or this. No. That's called vote shaming.
And I think I mentioned that to you this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a Republican by not liking, or I don't dislike parties.
Yeah.
I like all the 5 of them,
yep.
even though there's only 4 representing us. If it would not be Dan Bishop, then I would probably incline for someone else, because Republicans do align a lot with some of my principles,
yes.
Some of my platforms.
Mm-hmm.
However,
Bishop is just
it's just putting out more hatreds against people. They hide behind the word saying, "Oh, God doesn't like this. Oh, this is what is right." Let me tell y'all, if you really know who God is love. Mm-hmm. And the whole entire word of love covers God. That is God. So there's no excuses for you to say God loves y'all but hates this turn people. That's not true. God loves every single person because He created us.
Sure. And Ruth, I think that even though that sometimes it may come across with us when we all sit around and talk, I think we've done a very good job, or we try to do a very good job of trying to treat all of the 4 candidates equally.
Correct. Yep.
Even though we are, Jeff is one of our co-hosts.
Some disagree with some stuff.
Yeah, Jeff is our co-host. I'm probably not voting for Jeff. I think my family is probably going to vote for Alan Smith, specifically because he's fighting for Medicare for all, the Green New Deal. He's against ICE.
Well, good thing about your family is that you can split your votes.
Yeah.
You can vote for Alan.
And votes are, and the reality is, and that's what the wonderfulness of democracy is, votes are private. So you can say everything you want to your friends, but when you get in that ballot box, you vote for whoever you feel you would like to be in Congress.
Correct.
Regardless if you think that they are. Don't let anybody. Well, people can vote shame all they want. All I know is the more you vote shame someone, or the more you do, the more they don't do it.
What I want is just a person that goes in there and be a team player.
Sure.
I'm not expecting for someone like for Jeff or Alan or anybody that goes in. I'm not in a little fairy tale story saying, "Oh, he's gonna be our savior. He's gonna change everything." Heck no, I know that for sure.
I'm gonna drink coffee as we do this.
I know for sure he's not gonna make that change. Mm-hmm. He will present some of his ideas, and hopefully the others will combine them and say, "Okay, let's all work together for this."
Yeah, well, and I think all I know to do is to try to treat all 4 of the candidates, or the 4 choices that we have, fairly and on a level playing field. So the same standards that I would apply to Dan Bishop, I have to apply to Dan McCready.
Now,
Jeff
you're
Scott,
a Democrat.
and Alan Smith. Yes.
A red bone Democrat.
Yes. Or as my brother says, a liberal.
A liberal. But you're a pro-choice, pro-life.
Yes.
So that doesn't mean that,
And I'm fiscally very conservative.
Thank you.
Yes.
So let's not get the wrong idea about parties being inclined to one certain thing. No. Party doesn't describe us, doesn't define us, who we really are. We just want to see that change in our country. We want better families. We want happier kids. We want Medicare for all, so everyone can have access.
Yes.
We are not against the wall. We're against the procedures of how not making it easier for families that want to immigrate to the United States to have a better life. Those are things that a lot of our audience doesn't understand, and they qualify us like we're being racist, and we were being liberal. We're against Republicans. No, we want the better.
Yeah.
I don't agree with bumps. I don't agree with people that are gonna be just sucking out of welfare, taking advantage of our government.
Yep.
There's so many things that I don't agree, and everybody might think that I'm a Republican. No, I want people to become successful. I want people to become educated. I want teenagers to become college masters.
Sure.
Things like that.
Or some people just aren't meant to go to college.
Correct.
So,
and they can do some trademarks,
trades or skills, or there are a lot of plumbers and electricians that make much more than people who've been in college.
People, AC,
exactly.
air conditioners. Oh my God! Yes.
If you just had a tree company, you would make a mint here in Charlotte.
Just being a mechanic. Just being a mechanic.
That's
My car just broke down, and I had a guy that came from his house to my house to fix a belt.
Sure.
$100 just to come and fix my
crazy.
belt.
Well, I want to get back because we want to talk too much about the special election. We talk about it a lot because early voting is on right now.
I gotta go vote.
And early voting goes on until I believe the 6th.
September 6th.
And then the special election for the 9th congressional district is the 10th. But also,
that's my grandson's birthday.
Oh, wonderful.
Yep.
And so we will find out on 9/11, terrible day to find out who won the election. We'll probably find out. I think we're going to find out early. Jeff and I have had this conversation.
We'll probably be having those news saying there was fraud again. Miscounted.
We've talked, I try to look at things from a half glass full kind of perspective. And even
with glasses or with
contacts and glasses. I will say what happened in the first election with Harris and McCready was terrible with the absentee balloting thing, and we're not going to get it. We've talked about it. What was the good thing that came out of that? The good thing that came out of that is that it forced everyone, all four candidates, to campaign in those rural areas because no one campaigned outside of Union County.
Yep.
Everyone ignored Anson's, Scotland, Robeson, Bladen, Richmond, all those counties. Cumberland ignored those counties. So now the candidates have been forced to campaign in those counties to activate those people to vote. But I think what's really sad, and today I think is an example of that, is unfortunately I know of two or three candidate forums that have been canceled because Dan McCready and Dan Bishop refused to show up.
And see, I wonder why.
Well,
this is worse than a boxing ring.
Only they are going to be able to explain. One of them is going to lose, okay? And when they lose, they're going to have to explain. We're all going to examine the vote data. We're going to see how they campaign.
There's no way they can draw.
No. And I think we'll find out. I'm one who believes that the election's over. I think I have a feeling. I think I know who's going to win.
Yeah, we've seen the numbers.
Yeah,
especially with this pre-election.
Yeah, but
things could change.
Anything could change. The most important thing that I like to say is just to vote. Whoever you decide to vote for, any of the four choices.
Thanks for letting me know that, because I wasn't planning to vote on this one.
Yeah.
I mentioned to a friend of mine yesterday. I said I wasn't planning to vote.
I think it's important to vote, and the reason it's so important, and there's no wasted vote. Don't let anyone vote shame you. And those people who vote shame, that's what they do.
Yeah.
They vote shame for Hillary Clinton. They're going to try to vote shame, and they're vote shaming all the time, trying to vote shame. But I think that speaks of the lack of qualifications of the candidate they support. If you have to vote shame someone to vote for your candidate, that means you have a really shitty candidate.
Yeah. And
I'm sorry to use that word, but I mean really, to say vote for this person because they're just not as bad as this person, we don't do that. It's just it boggles my mind that anyone would ever try to vote shame someone. And because usually what happens, and we learned that with Hillary.
Things happen for a reason. I'm just here sitting down. I'm not feeling too good anymore. I got too excited now.
Oh, good golly, let me calm you down. Yeah.
But things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
And what's going on in the Amazon right now, it's kind of bringing up and opening up everyone's head and eyes and minds, where we have to be more conscious about our decisions on voting. And thinking about Alan, the way he is doing the green for everything. Maybe that gives us an opportunity as a community to dig in more into his candidacy, into what he's doing.
Well, let me tell you exactly what you're saying is very important. Vote, just by voting, you help shape policy.
Correct.
And by voting for issues that are important to you, whatever those issues are, I know I have about 5 issues that are very important to me and my family. By voting for those issues, you shape the future policy. And a perfect example is Trump and Bernie Sanders.
Correct.
People voted for Trump for a specific reason, and that shapes policy for people who run after Trump.
Which, let me tell you, doing all the research, yes, our economy has changed, you know, and it has benefited a lot of our business and stuff. However, it had causes many hurts and pain because the way, I don't dislike Trump for who he is. I dislike him for what he does and says. As a human being, you know, anybody can make mistakes. However, if you keep on repeatedly every single day speaking out hate, that's what's gonna make me and others dislike you. Well, because even though he done good things out there, he erases those good things by his actions.
But I also think you can. I've always said this, that you can tell the quality of a candidate by the quality or the lack of quality by their supporters. So if you have supporters that are vote shaming you, if you have supporters that are trying to tell you to vote a specific way, that shows you the lack of quality of that candidate. Because all the candidate has to say to the supporters is, don't vote shame people.
Hey, Joe.
Just tell people to get out to vote and to vote for me because of this. If you have to vote shame people because you're so bad that your supporters are telling you.
That's what Joe's saying. Exactly, Christine. I had McCready canvassers try and
I
not only try to vote shame me, but use fear mongering by saying the polls were tied and my vote could make a difference.
Yes, and and that is a strategy that they're using.
Now your brother says I'm a
capitalist is what it is.
Capitalist and work in finance for an oil company in Texas, but I still realize good over evil. Yes.
And so
thank you.
But and you know what I've said is and we had this conversation before, that I see this as a job interview.
Correct.
And if I have a person who's applying for a job and they're telling me, just trust me, I'm going to be good once I get the job or once I get into office, I would never hire that person. So why would we do that for Congress? And so I don't believe in this, or it's silly and foolish for anyone to tell someone else, just vote for this person, wink, wink, because once they get into office,
they'll do what they told us.
And if they don't, we're going to stand up. We would never do that to hire someone. No one has that luxury. Now, and so what you do is you just don't hire that person.
We just got to keep in mind that once we support someone that makes it clear what their stands for, especially, you know, councilman, you know, mayor, pro tem, whatever, we have to hold them accountable after they're doing their job, like what we did with Cooper. Push them and you know, pressure them, keep calling them and make, you know, forcing them to do the right thing.
And so whoever gets into office, obviously someone's going to get elected. And whoever gets into office, what we do, regardless of whichever the 4 candidates get into office,
good luck for all of them.
What we're going to do is we're going to all shake hands as neighbors. We're going to lobby that person for
no. I'll probably shake hands with y'all probably about a month later.
But you know,
let me get over it first.
Well, you know, this the sky.
I picture the person that loses the most will hide for about 2 or 3. He'll probably come out until Christmas time.
Go to Disneyland again, Disney World again. All right. Well, listen, we started a little late, but we're gonna try to wrap this up.
Actually, we have 2 minutes to finish.
Oh, do we? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Excellent.
We're at 58.
So let's. I want to put up. Well, we're going to read the Constitution, but I want to show just like we did last week.
That's what I wanted to tell you. Just
Yeah.
make sure that we're in the right path with the right candidates, and make sure and go out and vote.
Yes.
We have elections for city council in Mecklenburg
Yes.
County.
Yes. There's also
So
other
please,
elections.
guys, let's just not focus in this district, our neighbors here in District 9, but we have elections and we have great candidates out there. We have for school boards, we have for city council at large, we have for, Tara doesn't run until next year.
Next year.
Yeah.
So the Republican choice that you have.
That hurt my stomach already.
Let's be nice.
I need to make some more exercise. Look at my big
Republican choice
loca.
you have is Dan
Y'all
Bishop.
focus on my loca.
Yes, is Dan Bishop. The Democrat choice you have is Dan McCready. Those are the two Dans.
Hey, why didn't you get him with that regular shirt he wears?
I'm being nice today.
Okay.
The libertarian choice you have, and as we talked about last week, if you look at his commercials, his hair is he's dyeing his hair.
It's not red anymore. Oops! Did I just say that? That sounded like Urkel.
The libertarian candidate, who I will have to say,
why don't you put him up there instead?
Because the camera.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So the libertarian candidate,
right,
who has been almost to every candidate forum, even when they get canceled.
Even when he gets kicked out.
So if this were a job interview,
or doors closed at him.
If this were a job interview, I would shake his hand and say thank you for showing up for the job interview.
Yes,
and
correct.
we're not saying that just because he's one of our co-hosts.
No.
Jeff Scott is a libertarian candidate.
You know what I love about him? He goes every single Friday.
Yes, to the Friday morning.
Friday morning with Ed Dregs.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's libertarian.
Yes.
He goes and supports and hears and gets involved and gets to know what's going on in the community's needs.
Yes, the Green Party candidate is Alan Smith, and so you have 4 choices. They all have different issues that they're fighting for. Look them up. Decide.
I can tell Alan is a Green Party guy because he
does
doesn't waste money on racers.
Well, so we do have 4 choices, and please understand that there is no wasted vote in democracy.
No.
And once again, when this election's over, we're going to look back and we're going to see things that people, did or to try to get this election won. And all I have to say is that if we have to stop this vote shaming.
Correct.
And if there's a candidate that their actual strategy is to vote shame people, they should not be in office. And I think that's a reflection of how they're going to be on the job. And I think it's a bad thing. But I think it backfires because I've spoken with a lot of people who tell me they like one person, but when they go into the ballot, they're going to vote a certain way. They're telling their friends they're voting a certain way, but when they go into the ballot, they're going to vote a certain way. So
it's going to be a big surprise.
I think it will be. I think it will be a very big surprise.
It's amazing how month of August is gone already.
Yeah.
This weekend it's Labor Day weekend.
And I want to give a shout out once again to last night's candidate forum. And once again, there's candidate forums all around Charlotte and every county. And it was so important for our candidates to show up. And quite honestly, one of the reasons that
was my buddy Lawana there.
Lawana was there.
My buddy Braxton there.
Braxton was there.
Awesome. That's all I care. And I know Matt Meaden is always there.
Almost everyone was there. The mayor, Mayor Lyles was there. She sat at my
was your friend there?
Who?
Miss Julie.
Julie showed up.
Oh, okay.
And her representative sat at our thing, and even though my family's not voting for her, I appreciated the fact that she showed up. That was important.
Is she rerunning?
Yeah, she's running at large.
Oh, I haven't heard of her.
I haven't seen any signs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Larkin, I know he was there.
Larkin was there, and the guy who's running against Larkin was there.
I don't know, but I care for Larkin.
I saw him.
He has all my full support.
Yeah. So I want to thank all of the candidates, and there was school board candidates, Jennifer, and all the other candidates that were there. So I want to thank all of them for showing up, and please consider those who show up to the candidate forums.
Was Tariq there?
He was there.
Oh.
Yes, so was Gina.
You know what I really appreciate about Tariq? That he's changed a lot.
He has to.
He has.
He's got competition.
Yes, he's like been changing more actively connected with the community.
Sure.
He's like, I think he's
you know, Ruth, you have such a kind heart, and I appreciate that. You're like Tara. You have such a kind heart.
Yeah, we like to see the positive.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. And I try to see the positive in people.
Yeah.
I don't have any tolerance for people who don't do that until they need to do it.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, this is a job.
Well, it's not
Yeah.
okay. I maybe expressed it wrong. He started showing up, and I've seen him more involved, like more.
But he should have been.
But
He should have been in the first place.
But
Yeah.
I've seen him where a lot of the things that are going out in our community, they're not probably on his district, but he's
Sure.
getting more like
No.
invited
No,
to
I'm
go to
not-
Raleigh
I'm
and
not-
stuff like that.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. However, I dislike his service that only takes it personally to his district.
Yeah.
Like he is District 7? Six. He's in District 6, and that's who he cares for, and that's about it.
And he
So,
represents the whole city, even though he votes in that district.
Even though
Yeah.
he represents that district,
Yeah.
I was telling y'all earlier, it's a team player thing. It's a team player job. You know, you have to understand that the big company is Mecklenburg County, but you play a big role in the entire community.
And if anyone gets anything from this show, this is our 37th show, I believe. I can't remember.
No clue. I lost track.
If anyone gets anything from this show, we have emphasized this is a job that people are applying for, and that to me, that is how. That's how I have to look at it. I have to look at it from this is a job that people are applying for, and those people are coming before us. We're the hiring managers.
Yep.
They're interviewing in front of us, and then we make a decision who we think would best represent this district and fight for us. And quite honestly, even though I don't support Dan Bishop, I understand why people support Dan Bishop is because they know he's going to fight in Congress.
And he brought everything out there.
Yes.
I mean, even though people might not agree with a lot of the stuff,
Yes.
but at least they're not voting blindsided.
And so I would be happy to have. Those are the 4 choices we have. I wish we had more diversity. I wish we had a woman to choose. I wish we had a person of color to choose. Unfortunately, those are what we have.
We had women running
Yeah, they
in
just
the
didn't.
primaries,
They just didn't
but
get in
they
there.
didn't get in the door.
But
so.
you know, I do think that whatever happens, and I
Well,
hope
let's
everyone
start
just got to
thinking green, guys.
Yes,
Today
that's green.
it's Amendment 4. If
Yes.
you have your little booklet of the Constitution,
vote. Yes.
if not, let us know. Cano has them. So, and we have them in English and in Spanish.
That's right.
So,
So we're going to read Amendment 4,
Amendment
which is
4.
on page.
22. I thought you had already marked down.
No, I marked yours, but I forgot to put mine. This is the one that we're in my jacket. All right, Amendment 4.
Yep.
The right of the people to become secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the person or things to be seized. This is interesting that we talk about this one. This is actually the amendment that our sheriff talks about.
That's what I said, jails.
yeah, because basically what he's saying, you don't have to be an American citizen to be protected by the Constitution. As long as you're on American soil, you are protected by the Constitution.
That's automatically.
So you are protected by searches. And that's the reason why ICE has to have a warrant for the sheriff to comply with whatever it is.
And not only ICE.
Yeah.
That's for our
Yes,
immigrant
anybody.
community. However, if you ever get stopped, a lot of these people don't understand that
the rights they have.
their rights.
Exactly.
I mean, if I've learned a long time ago when I used to do insurance agents, you are not required to present your driver license. And a lot of people don't know that. In most of the states, that's something that came up just to earn tax money for the city. Okay?
Yeah.
But you're not required to show anything to no one. And we've seen videos where they only open the windows and the police officer's telling them to get down, to do this and to do that. And he's like, nope, I'm not going to do this. Can you tell me why are you stopping me? What did I do wrong? Well, sir, you were speeding. No, I was not.
Was that a white person?
Because if it was a brown or black person, they'd be on the ground.
Oh, they'll have no, when I got stopped the first time, I got stopped off of Almamar Road by the Walmart with my 2 little ones, and they kept on asking me if I had guns, if I had drugs, and blah, blah, blah.
And
I was like,
English?
And I was like, oh, I have my 2 kids here with me. Pull up my name. I said, look at my tag, pull out my registration. No, I have to see your registration, ma'am. You can pull it out of my tag.
Yeah.
You can just dial, put my number in there and you'll see who it is. And my picture will come out.
Yeah.
If you are a registered vehicle there.
Yeah.
Well, he got mad at me and he called 2 other cops.
Oh,
and 2 other cops came. And they said, ma'am, your registration comes out to you, but these are not your tags. I mean, no, these are your tags, but they're not to the right car. And I said, oops, well, I guess I put the wrong plate to the wrong car. And then he ended up not giving me a ticket. He ended up just telling me to go home and have fun. I wasn't going to let myself.
Yeah.
Heck no.
Well,
no.
Listen, this has been...
And if I have to put powder in the wig, bless your heart wig, I will do it. I know my rights.
This has been a great show. We miss you, Jeff. This is the first.
Sarah.
This is one of the first shows Jeff has missed.
Yeah.
So we miss you. I wanted to say.
No, he's missed other.
Yeah,
shows.
he's missed other shows, but lately I ran into our friend Tony Foreman. And he is going to be coming back on the show, I think, in a couple of weeks. So it's good to have him.
Maybe when the Amazon fire stops.
Barbara, I hope
we love you,
okay
Tony.
Home. Tara, I hope you're feeling better.
I haven't seen you.
Jenny, we always love to have you. We'll have to have you back on the show. We always have fun when Jenny is on here.
Yes.
And I'm still wearing her Trans Pride.
I'm still looking for my butterfly boots, Jenny.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I have a picture of them. Yes.
Okay, so everyone, once again, early voting is still going on for city council, for mayor, and also the special election as well. Don't let anyone vote shame you. Vote for what you think is best. I can tell you there is no such thing as a wasted vote, except the one that's not cast. That's a wasted vote. So look at these candidates, decide what issue is important to you. Medicare for all is very, very important to me. So is a Green New Deal. So is abolishing ICE. So is standing up for LGBTQ people. So is making sure that transgender people can serve openly in the military. And that's why I'm voting for one of these people, is because I have to be careful who I'm voting for, because because I want to make sure that those rights are protected. And the reason, if you want any reason to know why, gun control, assault weapon ban is very important to my family as well. And there's only one candidate that I know of that agrees with all of those issues, and that has said they will vote on a women's right to choose. Separation of church and state is very important to me as well. There's some very important issues that are important, but the reason it's important, because when you vote for one of these candidates, the next election, those candidates will be talking about those issues. We would not even be talking about Medicare for all today if it had not been for Bernie Sanders talking about Medicare for all in 2016.
Yep.
And so even though people said, oh, voting for Bernie Sanders is a wasted vote, it wasn't a wasted vote, because now we're talking about that issue.
We're still making revolution on that one.
Exactly. Yeah. And so there are issues that are important to people. But if you make a decision, you want to vote for one person because they're just not as bad as the other person, that's your decision.
Yeah.
But then don't complain about democracy.
And don't vote for liking someone. Vote for what you really think it's going to make that change.
Yes, yes.
Not only for you, for your community, for your kids, for your schools, for everything.
And also remember that this is one seat in Congress. We're not voting for the President of the United States.
No.
We're voting for one seat in Congress that will be in office for less than 3 months.
But
before
this will prepare us.
Yes, for the next election.
For the next election and for the president.
Exactly.
Because it depends who we have in Congress.
Yes.
To make it work. Even though if we get reelected, President 45, we can still bring that change, because there'll be a little bit more breaks, more stops in Congress.
And I actually want someone in Congress that is a check and balance to our president.
Correct.
And the Supreme Court. There's 3 branches there's 3 powers.
Just don't go and tell him off, because he'll fire you.
He'll tweet you to death. All right, we're out of time.
All right, guys.
Thank you, Alexa. Play Pandora.
Y'all have a good one. I start feeling weak now.
All right, you have to talk us out.
Yeah. I know, right?
Oh, I forgot to tell you. We've decided we're going to have a show specifically on chanclas.
Yay!
We're going to educate people on what a chancla is.
And what was it used for?
The power of the chancla. Who uses chanclas. So, I just thought of that. All right, where are you going to be, Ruth?
Oh, I'm going to be at home, guys.
Oh, okay.
My immune system, my anemia has been really low, so that really puts me very weak and painful. So I'll stay home this weekend. I know it's a long weekend for a lot of y'all. Y'all have fun. If y'all get to go to the beach, the river. Well, y'all have a good one.
Yes.
Send us. Bye, Brother Cano.
Yes.
Philip.
Thank you for watching.